Good morning, my name is Benjamin Moeller. I'm a paleontologist, and yes, this is my natural hair color. Today is day 13 out on the Menefee expedition here in the San Juan Basin of northwestern New Mexico. We're looking for approximately 80 million year old fossils of dinosaurs, crocodilians, turtles, petrified trees, all different kinds of cool stuff. And it's finally starting to feel more like mid-October should. It's getting a little cold. It's definitely windier this morning. And we're going to have to keep an eye on the weather. It started to rain on us a little bit on our way out of the field yesterday, so there's a chance that today's video will be a little short. But we're going to, in addition to hopefully flipping over the jacket that we made yesterday and collecting it and bringing it back, we're also going to try doing some more hiking around a completely different area and potentially finding new stuff, and taking the trail down to an area that we have never seen before. So there's every possibility of finding entirely new stuff, but the way this stuff works is there might not be anything new, but one way or another I'll try to at least show you guys a couple of cool things here as I document my time out collecting fossils. So let's get to it. So here's the jacket. You can hear from the knocking, it is nice and set, very solid. And so the one bone we're looking at is here, and the other chunk is up here. So there's a significant amount of rock on the underside. It's gotten a little dirty because all the blowing wind, but this is still plaster and there's rock on the underside. So the bones are here, way in what will become the bottom of the jacket. And once this thing gets flipped, we're gonna get some of that excess rock out to make this a little less heavy, because this needs to be walked from here to the trucks. Just like some sort of prehistoric acupuncture, we've got these points of leverage all around the outside that can already see it allows it to lift. So we're going to push this away and over onto some sheets and then take this to the car. There we go.
That's good. All right, so now, because it's really heavy, we also try to take off extra bits that we don't need.
So we're cleaning up the underside here, and the bottom part of one of those bones has been exposed. So we know to stop on here. We're gonna finish cleaning off the top, maybe put some glue on this to keep it steady. And then back in a more controlled setting, we can use very fine tools to take little pieces of these away at a time and clean this up for scientific study. And there it is, snugly secure in the back of the truck. Let's take her home. So we're out here hiking, and I just wanted to point out, so this is a modern bone. It's a scapula, and it's by itself here in the wash. But I can actually see with an eyesight, I'm going to zoom in, the skull of the animal is all the way back, where's my finger? All the way back there. So I just wanted to use this as an example to kind of show how, if these stuff were to be buried and fossilized, how far apart bones from the same individual can be. There's a very important science that informs paleontology called taphonomy that kind of helps explain the ways that the burial process kind of affects the distribution of bones in a landscape. Moving into this stream bed here, you can see we've got a few vertebrae that are still articulated, so they're still attached and shown in life position. Moving a little bit further in this direction, you can see the lower jaw still intact with teeth, a few other bones. There's some ribs still partly articulated, poking out of the sand. There's the hip with the sacrum, more vertebrae. Continue moving down, some other small bones. That's part of the limb. And then finally, you get to the skull, which is transported the furthest. So this is obviously modern. This is a cow. It's still got a little bit of soft tissue there around the eyes. So examples like this give us a framework for understanding how far bones can be transported before they're buried. This is the exact type of situation, the exact setting where fossils can possibly be buried. It's in a channel, it's in some sand, and the sediment, when the rains come, will wash over You can see it's already partly buried. And if there's a big storm that washes enough sediment over this before it can continue rotting away, before the sun bakes it and it decomposes, this very well may someday become a fossil. These are cool ironstone concretions. We find them all over the place out here. These are not fossils, but they are very interesting to look at. And when they break up, they leave all kinds of little shards that just cover the landscape. The rain's starting to get us. Walking back to the car. Getting water on my phone, so time to stop filming. Wind died down a little bit. The rain stopped pouring. Taking a second to admire a little more pottery. Again, I'm not qualified to talk about any of this, and we do not collect it, but it's interesting that like corrugated stuff and then painted stuff is found right next to each other. Got to get some petrified wood for good measure. This is a pretty massive blown apart log. You can see that texture there. It's all rounded. So there's this huge piece. Up a little ways, we've got this chunk. Go a little further. Got this piece, this guy, and then I believe it fell down from this portion up here. Yeah, and that looks like the root. So this stump kind of fell apart and has washed down the hill here. I'm back working on this bone. Thanks to some drill assistance, we've been able to get a little bit further in. It's a little unclear how much further back that bone goes, so I'm just gonna keep chipping away at it, but this is really tough material. Getting closer, almost ready to pop. See the cracks starting to form up there. And there we have it, successfully removed. Everything has been wrapped up into these two pieces, and back in the lab, they will all be glued together. Don't worry, they will go back together perfectly. So that's going to be all for today, but before we go, I just wanted to mention that today, October 16th, is National Fossil Day. If you're watching it on October 16th, that means that you're an expedition donor to the Parent-Teacher Guide to Paleontology over on patreon.com/ptpaleo. So if you are, thank you so much for donating to allow me to go out and find all kinds of fossils that the public can then enjoy. Again, I work on public lands, so these things are coming into the public's possession so that they can be researched, and all that stuff I make as publicly available as I possibly can. So you supporting me means that everybody benefits. And if you're watching this for free on YouTube later and you're interested in being able to watch these videos the same day that I shoot them, you know where to go. And if you're watching this on October 16th some other year, happy National Fossil Day from the past. See you guys another time.